Hello YouTube, Moose Scout here. Welcome back to Operation Krautslaughter. I got a recap of round 5 for you of our delightful, chaotic game. I got a lot of crazy things going on. The Russian Empire is on the brink of collapse. Weird stuff has happened in the Balkans, in the Western Front, and the Pacific, and more or less everywhere. But anyway, so as per usual, I'm going to go over primarily in turn order as to exactly what happened this round. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is a game between myself, our friend Steven, and my co-creator, Madman, as the allied powers against Jabshire and Krautfather as the central powers. Gotta fix that. Okay. And yeah, it has been quite a game. There have been some blunders on our part for sure. We're not giving up yet, though. Also, what made this a little bit more difficult was that over the 4th of July weekend, Madman and his family were on a trip, and so he had to communicate his turns to us via text. We all have our conversations, our game conversation in WhatsApp. So we had to do his turns for him for a bit. And he also was just it was like a camping trip where he was in an area with really bad reception. So it was not ideal and not great, but maybe we should have waited for him to return. He's back now, but we're going to make the best of it and see what we can do, because there are still possibilities on the board, and we're only halfway through the game. The United States has now entered the war, finally, and basically going to take the place of the Russian Empire. But anyway, I digress. So, all right, on Austria-Hungary's turn, they attacked Crimea and somehow from Western Ukraine, and somehow did not get enough hits that they needed, and Crimea, by the miracle of dice, was saved. And that, combined with what else? Primarily that is what saved the Russian Empire and fended off the revolution one extra turn. So it should have happened the last turn. It will happen. It's pretty much not possible, unless it's pretty much not possible for it to not happen next turn or next round. But anyway, that happened over here. They've fortified and sent units down to Marmara to help out the Ottomans. Jabshire did a kind of risky attack against Albania to try and get that neutral, but he didn't go in with enough, and the Albanians were not having it, and actually got the 4 Albanian units that were here defending. Got 4 hits in return, and it was painful to watch. I think his fighter and an infantry were the only units that survived, and the remaining 2 units, infantry and artillery, went to Italy, and on Italy's turn they countered, and that's how Italy has wound up with Albania. And then simultaneously, Austria has been preparing. We have the battles of the Isonzo River standoff going on. Anyway, so that's basically what happened with Austria. Russia did its best to counter and position, moving most of its force into Moscow, and did its best to, we've had the usual tit for tat in Belarus, eastern Ukraine, and then the Germans on their turn. And also since the Trans-Siberian Railway is complete, we're able to rail over these more of these remaining Far East infantry. Germany on their turn used pulled units back to Silesia, and their air force out of Lithuania to Silesia, congregated back in Poland and used their cavalry to attack what was it? I think it was 5 cavalry to attack 4 units in eastern Ukraine, and got lucky with 3 hits, only losing 1 cavalry in response, and then contested Belarus yet again, and marched up and took Estonia, which had 1 infantry, and contested Karelia. So that is basically what happened over here. For the next round, as you see this die here, they need, it's going to be round 6. So from round 6 onward, the Central Powers just need control of 5 Russian territories, original Russian territories, at the end of the Russian players' conduct combat phase. So after that point, then the armistice gets offered, and it's up to them to accept it or not. And then, let's see. Okay, Germany on the Western Front continued to doomstack Belgium, and also built an insane amount of fighters, essentially. Or not insane, but he built 6 fighters, I think. Yeah, 6 fighters, building 3 in Bavaria, 3 in Rhine province. He also has bombed Britain again, but this time I think it was actually unsuccessful. So this is the first time Krautslaughter has had 4 successful strategic bombing raids this game and 1 unsuccessful, which is pretty dang good. So there's that. France, in response, France had to do something different because I cannot keep up with the fighter stacking here. They also, oh wait, I forgot to do this. I usually do this. This is the casualty bin, the boneyard dish. So the casualties from this round. And as you can see, there was a damaged, Stephen brought his damaged dreadnought back here and kind of repeated his mistake of letting the Air Force blitz out and take out this damaged dreadnought by itself. But yes, Krautslaughter has so much Air Force in Belgium. Granted, the Zeppelins cannot participate in sea combat, but they have enough where if there's not enough here, they can just very easily air blitz it and move back. Besides that, we have more British cruiser transport, Japanese cruiser, another German cruiser and sub. A few elites and a machine gunner were killed. More neutral powers either activated or aligned. A French transport killed as well. Lots of good stuff. Lots of a very healthy round of casualties, or unhealthy, depending on how you want to look at it. And then, so France, backing up to France. France needing to do something with their big stack, and change it up a little bit, decided to attack from Lorraine and hit Switzerland, taking out Switzerland with only 1 casualty because France has poison gas, and the Brits moving along in there, right in there with them. Switzerland has possibilities, and it definitely opens the Western Front a little bit, making it less of a gridlock. So the question is just, how is Krautslaughter going to respond to that? Is he going to go straight for the kill for Paris? Is he going to have to come down and meet us? Is he going to split up? What's going to happen exactly? And then let's see. Britain, in response, like I've said, they have followed them with those units, brought over some of the Canadians finally to Brittany, built an air force to hopefully fend off the strategic bombing raids, and come down here to build another transport. They finally took German Southwest Africa. France also took out Togoland, so the Germans only exist in contested German East Africa with these 2 machine gunners on the African continent. Let's see. Also, backing up to Germany a little bit, the Pacific play has been even more interesting, where he has taken his transport over to 59, picked up the infantry from Bismarck Archipelago and German New Guinea and brought them back. So the German Samoa stack is very interesting. He also has a transporter coming over this way, and since he declared war on the U.S. around 5, because they're going to declare war on him anyway, the U.S. has already invaded Mexico, which means that Chile immediately gets aligned to him. So he right away gets these troops and this money. And then what else? Backing up to Britain. Well, all right, so right here in Bulgaria, we had a very risky and attack with unfortunate results. France brought a British troop into Sea Zone 32, braving the mines, and then the Brits came in and offloaded and attacked Bulgaria, and they contested it. However, they lost 2 elites at sea due to the mines, went down with one of the transports, and only contested down to 1 Austrian infantry, and then the Ottomans on their turn countered and retook it back to the Central Powers. However, since they took it and it's a aligned territory, not an original territory of Austria, now the Ottomans control it, and unfortunately for the Allies, they took it without any casualties. So we kind of had the idea of going this way and going this way to cause mischief, but this just ended up being a bust. A royal bust, as we were hoping to at least keep it contested for, at least until Austria-Hungary's turn. But alas, did not happen. However, Austria-Hungary not having Bulgaria anymore, unless it's contested again, and then they retake it, that does affect them a little bit. So makes it harder for them to reinforce over here. And that's another $3 that they don't collect, and the Ottomans don't necessarily need it, although they are benefiting as well. What else? All right, so yeah, that did not go great, and the Brits got a minefield via tech. They attacked Persia yet again. We've had the back and forth quite a bit, and then as you can see on the Ottomans' turn, they just retook it. So this has just been happening. But we have stuff happening down here. We're getting more transports back in the Indian Ocean to hopefully give some more flexibility and stuff. Likewise, Japan came down, built transports, and came down here to with their subs. And position for the kill. They also sent 1 cruiser that they had within range to attack, which got lucky and took out one of the cruisers, but went down in flames as well. But so right now, the German fleet just has 1 cruiser and the 2 transports left. Slowly but surely, they're being dealt with. What else? The Ottomans, like I said, previously, on the previous turn, lost much of their fleet attacking the Russian fleet up here. This turn, they went up they did not bother with trying to take out Crimea. They just went into and attacked Volga, where they got 2 hits against 2 infantry there. Volga is a territory that the Russian Empire on their turn could do nothing about, unfortunately. They just don't have anything within range that can counter there. But anyway, Ottomans sent units down to Mesopotamia, took out Persia, sent more stuff to Palestine, and like I said, took over Bulgaria. Italy on their turn, Rick had returned from his trip at this point. He managed to, like I said, take out Albania, and he pulled units west to Province. 3 cavalry towed 3 infantry to Province, and then sent more of his stuff up here. So now we have a reasonable stack and a very big stack threatening Austria-Hungary, but also threatening, Munich as well. backing up to France. France did, at least for the time being, march into Alsace and take our first minor city. So we do have one minor city. And then, yeah, just Italy's doing, besides what I've already covered, Italy's doing the usual thing over here and reinforcing Egypt and convoying the Ottomans. What else? The U.S., now at war, has aligned Cuba, the Brazil, I almost said the Amazon, but they aligned Brazil, and they took out Trinidad, the German island of Trinidad, which by them being there actually gives them a point because it's an original German territory. Not a point, but a national objective because it's an original German territory. As long as they have a unit there, they'll get $2 for having a unit in that territory. And then we have the fleet, a purchase of transports that'll be moving these units off the island, off the mainland. And we have the Alaska guy coming down. And then there was a transporting cruiser that came back over from the Pacific over to 71 that met up with another cruiser since the canal. They're now at war, so the Panama Canal is now operational. Okay, that about does it. And there are 2 German subs left down in Sea Zone 10 here and Sea Zone 12. So they have not been kicked out of the Atlantic, but we're getting there, folks. And then in China, the Empire of China took over Xikang, took over Shenxi, built in Jiangsu. Hebei was contested, and on the Republic's turn, they just took out the one dude that was contested in there. And then in Sichuan, they marched into Sichuan. So that's basically it. Republic is winning the National Protection War, which in my games, that's usually the case of what happens, but sometimes you do see the Empire become a big mess as well. Oh yeah, that's no longer contested, or not contested, convoyed. So yeah, that about does it. That is a recap of round 5. On to round 6. And, one more thing, the victory points. This is what we have on the tracker. I believe I'm right with everything. In terms of the Empire point, the Central Powers are at 75, and the Allied Powers are currently at 80. And as you can see, it's looking like a blowout for the time being. Can we make some cracks in their hull? Who knows? Right now, the Allied Powers have favorable trade right now. They're probably going to lose that. And they're probably going to lose the Russian Revolution. No, they're going to. Spoiler alert, they're going to. The Western Front is actually technically the Allies. I'm just going to do it. Technically, they're going to lose it, but technically the Allies have the Western Front point. They're going to lose it, but for the time being, they have it. And I think they're also going to lose favorable trade. But we do have Africa. We do indeed have Africa. Central Powers have the Black Sea point. They do not have the Balkans, not yet. They have the Middle East oil. They have China. They have the Pacific colonies, and I think they're actually going to keep it, which is crazy. And they have Belgrade and minor cities 3 and 5. However, it's still, we're only halfway through this game. The Americans are on the way. Things are happening. Different things are happening over here, so we will see. There are enough units to make a difference, enough units that can be towed back out of Switzerland to Paris to still make a sizable standoff, as well as having the other Allied units that are on their way. So who knows? But anyway, that is what we're looking at right now. The minor cities involved, by the way, are Baku, Bucharest, Kiev, Warsaw, and Ypres. So they have 6 minor cities. They have 6 minor cities, and then the Allies just have Strasbourg for the time being. And there you go. So that's a recap of round 5. Stay tuned for more.